You did everything right. You walked in the mornings. You cut the butter. You took the pills your doctor prescribed without question. You worried about cholesterol for decades? You said no to eggs at breakfast, avoided red meat, and read every food label at the grocery store. And yet, heart attacks after 50 keep happening. To good people, careful people, people exactly like you. So let me ask you something nobody has asked you before. What if everything you were told about protecting your heart was only half the truth? What if the real enemy was never the thing they pointed at, and has been hiding somewhere else entirely all along? I sat with an old monk once, a man who had spent decades sitting with the sick, the grieving, and the dying, a man who had watched thousands of lives unfold from beginning to end. And he said something to me that I have never forgotten. He said, "I have never seen a heart fail from fat alone. I have seen hearts fail from fire, from silence, from forgetting how to breathe." Those are the things nobody warns you about. That conversation changed everything for me, and today I am sharing every word of it with you. Welcome back, dear friends. If you're over 50, or you love someone who is, what you're about to hear in the next few minutes may genuinely be the most important thing you encounter this year. Not because it is dramatic or frightening, but because it is true, and because truth delivered with care has the power to add years to your life. Today we are talking about the real reason hearts begin to fail after 50. We are talking about 3 silent thieves that nobody names, and 3 ancient offerings that can begin reversing the damage, starting tomorrow morning. No expensive supplements, no complicated routines, just wisdom that has existed for thousands of years, finally meeting the science that confirms it. Stay with me. This one is for your heart, in every sense of the word. Let's talk about the problem, the fire nobody sees. Picture your arteries not as pipes that simply clog over time, the way a kitchen drain fills with debris. That image is too simple, and it has misled millions of people for decades. Your arteries are more like a garden. In your youth, the soil was rich, the walls supple and flexible, the entire system alive and responsive. But after 50, sometimes earlier, a fire begins to burn inside that garden. Not a fire you can see or feel in the early stages. A silent fire, a slow, creeping, invisible fire. Doctors call it inflammation. The monk called it the ember that becomes the inferno. Here is what most people are never properly told. Your arterial walls do not simply thicken and close off like a narrowing road. What actually happens is far more subtle and far more dangerous. They crack. Tiny, microscopic cracks caused by chronic stress, by hidden sugars lurking inside foods marketed as healthy, by years of shallow breathing, and yes, by the quiet loneliness that settles in when the children grow busy and the house grows still. When these tiny cracks appear, your body, ever faithful, ever trying to protect you, sends its repair crew. Cholesterol is that repair crew. It rushes to the damaged site like plaster filling a crack in a wall. And in a healthy body, this works beautifully. The crack heals, life continues. But when the fire never stops burning, the plaster never stops arriving. It hardens, it thickens. It layers upon itself year after year, quietly narrowing the river inside your chest, until one morning, without warning, the river can no longer flow. That is the heart attack nobody saw coming. That is the tragedy that did not have to happen. Now, what is really stealing your heart's peace? The monk spoke of 3 thieves. He said, "Know the thief by name, and you have already stolen back half of what he took." So let us name them clearly. The first thief is the sugar you do not know you are eating. Not the sugar in candy or cake. You already know about that one. The thief hiding in plain sight. That bowl of oatmeal with dried fruit you eat every morning believing it is heart-healthy? It can send 20 teaspoons worth of sugar flooding through your blood before noon. That store-bought fruit juice sitting in your refrigerator? Closer to a soft drink than anything nature intended. Every single spike in your blood sugar is a crack in the garden wall. and most seniors are spiking their blood sugar 3 to 5 times a day without ever realizing it. The second thief is the breath you forgot how to take. Shallow breathing, the kind that creeps in with worry, with years of hunching over screens, with the low-grade anxiety of modern life, keeps your entire body locked in what science calls the stress response and what the monks simply called panic mode. When your body believes it is in danger every single hour of the day, it produces a steady stream of stress hormones. Those stress hormones inflame your arteries, they raise your blood pressure. They burn the garden, slowly and continuously from the inside out. And the saddest part is that most people do not even notice they have stopped breathing deeply. It happens so gradually, over so many years, that shallow breathing simply became normal. The third thief is the one that wounds the heart most deeply, and science is only now beginning to catch up to what monks have known for centuries. It is isolation. It is loneliness. Research now confirms with remarkable clarity that chronic loneliness raises your risk of heart disease as powerfully as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The heart is not a mechanical pump. It is a living drum that beats in rhythm with other hearts. When we lose those connections, when the dinner table empties, when old friends drift away, when the phone stops ringing, the heart does not simply feel sad. It begins at a cellular level to lose its will to fight. Now here is where the monk's wisdom becomes practical, because he never stopped at identifying the problem. He always moved toward the remedy. He would say, the body is not your enemy, it is your oldest ally. Give it the right signals, remove the obstacles, and it will heal itself with a dedication that will humble you. He taught 3 practices, not exercises, not medical interventions. He called them offerings. Offerings to the heart that has carried you faithfully for more than 50 years. The first offering is what he called the morning inflammation sweep. Before the world rushes in, before the phone lights up and the mind begins to race, you rise and you make one simple preparation. Warm water, not hot, not cold, but warm like the inside of your own hands, with the juice of half a lemon and a small pinch of turmeric stirred gently in. You drink this slowly. You breathe the warmth rising from the cup. You are not simply hydrating. You are sending your body its first signal of the day, a signal that says, today we cool the fire. This practice is older than modern medicine by thousands of years. And now we understand the biochemistry behind why it works. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most potent natural anti-inflammatory compounds ever studied. Lemon alkalizes and gently activates the liver, and the warmth itself begins to relax the arterial walls before you have even taken your first step of the morning. The second offering is what he called the breath that opens. For just 3 minutes, not 30, not 10, simply 3, you sit somewhere quiet with your spine gently upright. You inhale slowly for a count of 4. You hold softly for a count of 4, and you exhale completely for a count of 6. That extended exhale is the key. It is not poetic, it is mechanical. A longer exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the part of your body responsible for lowering cortisol, relaxing blood vessels, and slowing the heart to its natural, peaceful rhythm. You are in those 3 minutes, manually dialing down the very stress hormones that spend all day cracking your arterial walls. The monk said, "Do this before breakfast, and you have already given your heart its greatest protection of the day." The third offering is the one most people overlook because it does not feel like health advice. He called it the connection ritual. Each single day, one conversation with depth, not a text message, not a social media comment. Voice to voice, or better still, eye to eye. You tell someone one true thing about how you're feeling. You ask one real question, and you listen, truly listen, to the answer. This is not sentiment. This is not soft advice for the emotionally inclined. This is, according to the most current cardiovascular research, one of the most powerful protective forces available to the aging heart. The heart does not just pump blood, it responds to love, to belonging, to feeling known. When it feels seen, it strengthens. When it feels invisible, it quietly begins to surrender. Before I leave you today, I want to share the last thing the monk said to me that morning. We sat in silence for a while after everything he had shared, and then he looked out at the mountains and said, "Most people spend the first 50 years of their life building a house. They work hard, they sacrifice, they accumulate. And then they arrive at the second half, tired and confused, wondering why the house they built feels so empty and the body they lived in feels so worn. They look for a pill, they look for a surgery. They never think to look inward, to the fire they forgot to tend, the breath they forgot to take, and the people they forgot to hold close." He paused and then smiled, a small, peaceful, unshakable smile. And he said the garden can still bloom. It is never too late to water it. Dear friends, your heart has been faithful to you for every single day of your life, without asking for anything in return. Today, perhaps, is a beautiful day to begin returning the favor. If this reached you, please share it with one person whose heart you quietly worry about. Not for me, for them, for the years they still have ahead. And tell me in the comments, which of the 3 thieves surprised you most? The hidden sugar, the forgotten breath, or the loneliness? I read every single comment, and I will answer every one. Breathe deeply. The best years are not behind you. They are simply waiting for you to tend the garden.